Okay, Rochelle. But thank you for bringing up that question. At least now we have clarification among the other reviewees. So now that this lesson is being recorded, let's begin. Today we're going to start with the common mistakes in the IELTS. This is a generalized version of one of the minor lectures here at 9.09er English. By the way, this will be divided into two sections, all right? We're going to cover the first half today and the second half probably next week, okay? Because I'd like to schedule a grammar lecture one of these days. Since I believe that a lot of you struggle when it comes to your grammar. That's why half of this lecture this week and half the week after, all right? Because common mistakes in the IELTS will cover all the written components and the speaking test. All right, so why is it important for us to talk about the common mistakes in IELTS? Can I have any hands? Okay, a general question. Why is it important for us to actually talk about mistakes? The goal is to learn. Yes, exactly. To learn from the mistakes, to correct the mistakes, and not to repeat the mistakes. Actually, if something is repeated, it's no longer a mistake. It's a choice. All right? So that's why it's called a mistake. You accidentally did it. The next time when you already know what to do, you have to avoid from committing those mistakes, all right? That's why today we're going to talk about the common mistakes in the IELTS, the mistakes that have been committed by previous test takers. So we learned from those mistakes, we gathered the information necessary in order for you to know what are the things that you can avoid doing in your IELTS examination, all right? So basically, this lecture will remind you to be a little more coachable or teachable, okay? Meron ba tayong ganong klaseng attitude? A teachable attitude or a coachable attitude, because sometimes may mga tao talagang it's not easy for them to accept mistakes, right? Parang hindi naman. Parang wala naman ako kailangang character development. Perfect yarn. Okay, so hindi naman ganun, okay? So of course, everyone has room for improvement. All right? And we all have to learn how to accept constructive criticism. When we say constructive criticism, that kind of criticism is not meant to hurt you, but rather to correct you in order for you to retrack or get back on the right track, okay? All right, so let's talk about the general mistakes first. The first one is not listening to the lecturer. This may sound very basic, but yes, you need to be physically conditioned, meaning wag sanang aantok-antok habang nasa lecture. Mukha namang okay pa kayo ngayon kasi kakasimula pa lang natin. Pero tingnan lang natin after an hour kung ganyan pa ba ang aura. Okay? So make sure before you come to the lecture room, you've already had your breakfast, coffee, or something that would, energize you so that everything that is being discussed in this room, ma-absorb nyo lahat. And another way for me to actually remember things is whenever I am in a lecture or a seminar or a webinar, whatever that is, I take down notes. Okay? Because simultaneously listening and taking down notes will actually secure more retention. Retention means mas naalala mo yung natututunan mo kapag habang nagle-lecture yung prof mo or yung lecturer, yung coach, nagja-jot down ka ng notes. Alright? Para after the lesson, ma'am, meron namang replay eh. Yeah, meron namang replay. But the thing is, panapanood mo ba? Diba? I doubt it. I doubt it. Kasi kayong mga students, kailangan pa talaga kayong i-push. Like, kailangan pa talaga kayong pigain para mag-aral. Am I right? Oh, ngingiti-ngiti yung iba dyan kasi relate much, right? So, yon. One technique is jot down notes. Sinabi ko na, ayaw pong maglabas ng notes, oh. Ay, walang dalang notebook. Okay, you have your phones. Your phones have a notepad, right? Lahat naman na ng phones ngayon, you have a notepad. Imposible namang wala. So I really suggest that you do that. Okay? Don't take pictures of this anymore because I'm gonna give a copy, a PDF file copy of this lecture that I made. So don't worry. All right. Sleeping during class. I understand some of you are actually juggling work and review, studies and review at the same time. You have to like focus on the review and then after this class, focus on something else probably. So, baka sleep deprived kayo. Again, it all boils down to physical condition. Okay? You have to make sure that you are holistically prepared for IELTS. Have you ever tried having a mock interview or a mock exam nang hindi pa kayo nakakatulog ng sapat? Yes, right? Nicole? Anong result? What was the result? You got a low score. All right. So why? You got a low score because you were not able to focus, right? Akala ko nung unang-unang uma-attend ako ng lectures ni Sir Kevin, ang exage niya naman sa part na you have to be physically conditioned. Well, it's not a typical exam. The written component of your IELTS is a 3-hour duration. Na tuloy-tuloy, walang break. Pag nag-break ka, it's gonna cost you a lot because mababawasan yung oras mo sa pagtitake ng exam, right? So, before the exam, sinesecure ng mga invigilator, nakapag-CR na lahat. You can't really, you can in the middle of the exam, pero hassle yun for you kasi mababawasan ng oras yung pagtitake mo ng exam, right? Tapos writing pa. Natapat pa na writing, di ba? So, every minute counts. Yung sinasabing laser focus, kailangan mo talaga yun i-apply. Especially sa listening test, which is the first test in your IELTS, right? So, make sure that you're training yourself in getting ample sleep. Sapat na tulog, okay? Sleep is really important, not only for the IELTS test, but generally for you. Because if you're sleep deprived, ang galing ko namang mag-lecture about sleeping well, no? Pero ako, 4 hours lang tulog ko today. Alam ko naman di halata, guys. But yeah, I only slept 4 hours. It's my fault. It's my fault because tinapos ko talaga yung season 4 ng Stranger Things. Are you guys watching that? Natapos na yung season 5? What? Did you finish season 5? What season are you on? You're not watching it. But it's interesting to watch it. Actually, I just started watching it this January. Apparently, natapos ko na hanggang season 4 because I'm so hooked with it. So, anyways, huwag niyong gayahin na 4 hours lang sleep ko, okay? Pero, as long as babawiin mo naman siya within the day, it's okay. But long-term effect, if you do it on a regular basis, anemia, which it will cost you a lot kasi you will end up getting hospitalized and yeah, blood transfusion. Seriously! Nangyari na sa akin yun many times because of me not sleeping enough. Lack of IELTS preparation. Do we have any relatives, any family parents, friends, na parang pinapressure tayo. Exam ka na. I need the results by the end of the month. Right? May kailangan tayong habulin. We have a deadline to meet for the requirements, for the documents. So, if you have family members who are pressuring you right now, ignore them muna, okay? You have to explain to them that IELTS is not a typical test. And if your level is just in the upper beginner level or low intermediate level, wag muna. At saka kung hindi mo pa nakukuha yung one score higher than your target band score, wag munang mag-take ng test. Okay? You have to make sure na ma-achieve mo yung target score mo before you take your test. Kesa naman mag-retake ka and you're gonna pay another 14K. Right? So, kayo, if you have the luxury of money, of finances to retake it, then go. But I'm not encouraging you na magpa-pressure sa mga nagsasabing kailangan nyo na mag-take ASAP. Alright? Alam nyo rin sa sarili nyo kapag ready na kayo. Mararamdaman nyo yun. Diba? Pag may konting alinlangan pa, it means kulang pa sa aral, kulang pa sa practice, right? So you need to keep taking your mock tests. How many times a week do you take your mock test? Every time lang ba na open to? You can actually do it at home if you have your computer, your laptop. I don't recommend doing it on the phone because the screen is too small and you can easily get distracted. But if you do have an iPad or a tablet, then okay, you can have it done there. Pero mas okay sana if desktop or laptop. And a conducive area, room, where you can actually focus in the mock test. Kasi I understand, when you're at home, kadalasan kasi sa mga Filipino homes, di ba? Parang mga extended family, sama-sama sa isang bahay. Ang gulo ng pamangkin mo or probably anak mo, di ba? Maingay, so hindi ka makafocus. You can come here. Just make sure you come early so that you can get a slot kasi usually 9 to 10 computers lang ang available every time. And of course, isa pang indication na ready ka na talaga is when you get a go signal from your coach. Pero even hindi rin naman ako 100% reliable source kung kailan ka talaga dapat mag-exam. Kasi baka ang na-assess ko lang sa'yo speaking. Or baka na-assess lang ni Sir Kevin sa'yo ay writing. Kailangan holistically, nakukuha mo yung target band score mo sa lahat ng areas. Sa apat na yon, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Okay? Kasi may mga students, nasa interviews, okay naman. Nakakakuha siya ng 4, 5. Ang target lang naman niya 4. Nakakuha siya ng 4.55 sa speaking. Then, tinatanong ko siya, ano nakukuha mo sa writing mo, sa listening mo, sa reading mo? Pina-fabricate niya lang yung sagot. I don't know why. May mga ganun talagang students. Siguro nahihiyang aminin na hindi pa niya nakukuha yung score niya. You have to be transparent with us, okay? Para mag-guide namin kayo ng mabuti. There's a thin line between honesty and transparency. Okay? Honesty is when you ask someone, kumain ka ba? Sabihin niya sa'yo, yes, I eat lunch. Alright? But transparency is like when you have a diet coach, ikaw na mismo magsasabi sa coach mo, Coach, I was not able to follow the diet plan today because I failed. I got tempted with a cheeseburger. Ganon. Do you see the difference between honesty and transparency? Transparency is you tell your coach, Coach, ito pa lang kasi yung nakukuha ko sa writing, sa reading, sa listening. Tell me, guide me. How am I supposed to achieve it? What more can I do? Right? That's transparency. So I hope you're all transparent with us, your coaches, so that we can guide you properly. Okay? All right. So coaching preparation, accomplish at least 10 writing outputs. Nakakailan na? Oh, since we're talking about transparency, Magkaamina na tayo. Nakakailang pasa na ba kayo ng writing outputs? Huwag niyo ako dinadaan sa ganyang tingin, ha? Ano, ilan na? Sana at least one. Ito si Eunice. I understand, kaka-enroll niya lang kasi. Pero kayong tatlo, nakapagbasa na ba kayo ng writing kay Sir Kevin? How many times? Mm-hmm. Okay, naniniwala naman ako sa'yo, Nicole. How about you, Kenji?
Di pa nga, pero nasa phone.
Print it out! Ayaw ni Sir Kevin ng soft copy, ah. Gusto niya naka-print. Yung readable, ah, baka naman size 8 yung font size yan. Siyempre, size 12, yun yung standard. Okay? Print it out kasi gusto niya, checkan niya mano-mano. Again, we don't accommodate text messages, calls, or virtual coaching when it's not office hours. So, kung ano yung kaya nyo ditong i-maximize yung oras nyo with us, go for it. Okay? Ayan, buti na lang. Reminder sa mga hindi pa nagpapasa ng writing outputs, at least once in a week. Diba? Si Sir Kevin ang coach bukas. Hindi ko pa pala sure. Pero usually kasi siya yung coach every Thursday. Grab that opportunity. Tonight, gumawa kayo ng writing assignment. Saan kukuha? Sa website. Yung sinesend ko lagi sa GC natin. Diba? We have a group chat schedule. I always send there the online link for your mock test. So, kuha kayo doon ng um, writing task 1 or writing task 2. Kung kaya mo dalawa tonight, then go. If kaya mo isa lang, okay, isa. Ipa-check mo tomorrow. Slow progress, guys. At least na mo-monitor natin, nata-track natin kung ano na ba yung level mo. Kung natututunan mo ba yung, na-apply mo ba yung mga natututunan sa mga lectures. Mahirap kasing pumapasok ka, present ka nga dito, pero wala namang nangyayari, right? And the only way for us to track it is for you to show us your outputs. So, ilang months mo babalak mag-review? 3 months? 4 months? Kung sa 3 months, ilang writing outputs yon? Let's do the math. 3 to 4 in a month. Meaning, once in a week. Mabigat ba yun? Once in a week, gagawa ka ng essay or ng kung GT ka, letter. Yun naman, di ba? Kung kaya mo ang magbabad ng 3 oras ka chat si... Charot. Di ba? Ganun din yun. You're typing. Basahin natin tong nakasulat dito sa Papa Melrotti notebook. The future depends on what you do today. So, huwag kayong magsayang ng mga oras ninyo. Maximize your days, guys. Okay? Lock in sa review. Yun yung pinag-usapan natin last Thursday, di ba? This 2026, you have to have your goals. You have to maximize your goals. Okay? Lock in kayo sa review. Kaysa naman lumilipas yung mga linggo, yung mga araw na nasasayang. At kapag hindi kayo nagsasabit ng writing output, yes, nasasayang yung mga chances niyo. Again, correction is really good because you'll grow, you'll learn from them. So, huwag kayong matakot, ay, madjudge yung essay ko. Talagang madjudge kasi nga yun yung purpose ng coaching. Guys, okay? Yung mga natatakot naman magpa-coaching sa speaking, mga nai-intimidate, natatakot ako ma-judge kasi hindi pa ako magaling mag-English, eh kaya ka nga magpapa-coaching para gumaling. Right? Hindi kayo dapat ma-intimidate sa mga coach nyo, like me and Sir Kevin. Because our job is to judge you. Okay? Not in a bad way. Again, I'm talking about constructive criticism. We're not gonna give you criticism for you to get humiliated na mapahiya kayo. No. Our purpose is for you to improve. Okay, sorry, hindi ko pala na-silent yung phone ko. Okay. Again, the minimum per student is 10 writing outputs within your review period and 10 coaching sessions within your review period. Again, if you're gonna be consistent in getting coaching once a week, kaya niyong ma-achieve yan within 2.5 months. 2.5 months. So basically, that's 10 weeks. Galing ko sa math. Para naman ang dali lang nun, okay? Napaka-nonchalant ng batch na to. Mag-react naman kayo, guys. Yung dynamics kasi, no? You don't really know each other since, yeah. Anyways, this is an important reminder. Read English intellectual articles. Kung ano yung ina-absorb ng brain nyo, yun lang din yung kaya nyong ibigay. Alright? So if you're not investing time in reading, in learning, wala kayong maisusulat pagdating sa essays ninyo. Okay? The only way for you to improve in your writing output, I mean holistically in English, is for you to build the habit of reading. It's not easy kasi hindi mo naman profession eh. Like me, magbabasa lang ako ng mga articles kasi kailangan. Kailangan ko kasing ituro. Akala nyo ba masipag ako? Hindi. Ano ba yan? Gastos na naman yung mga inaaya sa akin. No muna. Alright, guys. Where was I again? Okay, reading English intellectual articles. Napipilitan lang talaga ako kasi kailangan kong ituro. Pero, dahil araw-araw ko na siyang ginagawa, I've already built a habit. In order for you to build a habit, you need 21 days of consistency. If today is day 1, so be it. Okay? Kasi you have a target eh. Diba? You have a target band score in IELTS. That's part of your small goals. But the bigger goal, what's the bigger goal? Or the bigger picture? Bakit tayo nag-IELTS? Why do you need to undergo review? And why do you need to take the IELTS test? The bigger goal is for you to migrate and land a job or get accepted in a university abroad. Am I right? Parang hindi yata kayo sure sa mga goals nyo, guys. Hello! Wake up! Parang, alam nyo, black coffee itong iniinom ko, pero parang kailangan nyo, pass, get one and charot. Napaka non-hygienic na. Okay, so guys, the bigger picture, the goal here is for you to migrate. Okay? Sayang naman. Maraming students na nag-enroll. Feel ko hindi clear sa kanila yung goal nila. Kasi na-discourage lang ng konti, aayaw na sa review. Iilan lang yung mga students na kahit hindi mo masa sa first, second take, tuloy pa rin. Na-inspire ako sa mga ganong students. Tapos may mga students naman nag-enroll lang pero hindi na tinuloy yung pagre-review. Okay? Sayang naman yung binayad nyo, guys. Okay? Tuloy-tuloy nyo yan. At least, kung hindi man kayo makaalis agad-agad, nakapasa kayo, meron kayong IELTS certificate, which is good for 2 years. Di ba? So, sa loob ng 2 years na yun, keep trying, right? I understand everyone naman has a different pathway. Baka sakaling yun talaga yung hindi talaga para sa kanya pa yung oras na after niya makapasa, hindi pa siya nakaalis. Pero natutuwa ako sa mga students na nagchat-chat sa akin, Ma'am, andito na ako! Tapos nagsasend ng pictures. I'm just really happy to see everyone achieving their goals. So sana kayo din. Hold on to your goals, okay? And do something today to take you nearer to that goal. And one of them is to invest in your knowledge. Kasi although paulit-ulit kong sinasabi, IELTS is not an intellectual test, especially in the speaking subtest. Pero pagdating sa writing, sa reading, which are the most difficult parts of IELTS, posible namang hindi mo kailangan ng intellect doon, 'di ba? Kailangan mo. Alam niyo naman kung gaano kahirap ang reading at ang writing. So, invest kayo sa pag-sharpen ng mind niyo, okay? Kung kailangang iwasan muna yung mga bad habits, go. Redirect yourself. Tamang-tama, it's January 2026, new year, new goals, new you. Diba? New you. Okay. Something like that. So these are some of the reliable online sources. Ayan. Spoon feed ko na sa inyo yan, ha? I can actually give you the list. Sinend ko to last week, pero sige, isi-send ko na rin ulit. Wait lang. Actually, this is a very long list of online sources. We have last year ko pa pala to na-send. Sige, isi-send ko na lang ulit. I can't find it. Sige, later, when I have more time to scroll, I will look for it. Pero yan, Khan Academy, Englo.com, TED Education, How Stuff Works. These links are actually reliable sources for you to read intellectual English materials, okay? It's very important for you to double check the sources kasi hindi naman lahat ng sources online reliable. And pinili ko talaga yan guys kasi free yan lahat. Yung iba, nung ginugol ko, yung iba kasi may bayad. Pero yung mga pinicturean ko dyan, ay yung mga sinama ko dyan, lahat yan free. Okay? Stay updated with social issues. It takes a little time to navigate through the online websites, but you're gonna get a hang of it once you already do. I mean, once you already get there. Okay, let's read this quotation. Reading is a discount ticket to everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute to ponder. Pag-isipan nyo, what do you think this means? Hey, so anyone who would like to share their thoughts about this quotation? So reading itself, it's a way for you to gain knowledge. All right. And when you're knowledgeable about certain things in life, it's easy to grab opportunities. And it's a lot easier for you to know when to say no and when to say yes. Okay? For me, tinawag siyang discount ticket is because when you're reading, your mind travels as well. You imagine, you learn about cultures, about other countries. And I feel like being knowledgeable will be, you always have like an upper hand or a kickstart among others when you're a reader because you know more about stuff. Okay? So yeah, I hope you make it a habit. Any general training students here? Okay. How about here sa Zoom? Um, oh, thank you, Rochelle. Right. So, guys, these writing mistakes that will be discussed in general training, although hindi kayo general training students, Eunice, Nicole, and I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. What's your name? Zara. Okay, Zara. Although you're not general training students, guys, I understand. Pero may mga matututunan pa rin kayo dito sa writing task 1, mistakes ng general training. Okay? Grabe sa pagka-nonchalant ng batch na to talaga. Okay, so as you know, general training task 1 is letter writing. Okay, you're gonna write a letter. So these are the reminders that you should bear in mind. Of course, you have to use full block format from opening to closing remarks. I'm gonna show you a sample of the full block format later. Pero yun yung format sa pag i-inputan nyo ng inyong essay. Alright? Ibig lang sabihin nun, wala kayong i-invent and any paragraphs. Don't put the address and the name of the recipient at the top part of your letter. Hindi naman na kailangan yun at saka hindi naman din yun ipoprovide sa task description. Okay? Basta, pinaka-content lang ng sulat ang kailangan nyong gawin or i-construct. Don't forget the commas. Okay, punctuation marks are very important. Okay? Nakasanayan na kasi ng digital era na puro chat na lang, text na lang. Okay, so medyo maraming students hindi alam yung tamang paggamit ng punctuation. So sana alam natin yung basic, which is period, comma, especially when writing a letter. Saan ba talaga dapat ilagay yung commas? Answer all bullet points. This is applicable even sa ACAD students. Kasi sa mga task cards nyo, may mga bullet points yan. Do you really think they were added there for nothing? Of course, the bullet points are the target areas na kailangan maging content ng inyong essay. Alright? Especially sa mga tanong, sa writing task 2. Diba? So, you have to make sure that you give relevant information sa bullet points na naka-provide. Even sa speaking, you have to answer all bullet points. Know who you are writing for. Okay. When you know who you're writing for, you can adjust the tone of your writing. Okay? Pag sinabi natin tone, formal ba or informal? What kind of language are you gonna use? How are you gonna address that person? Siyempre, pag kamag-anak mo yan, lalagay mo pa ba yung dear sir, madam? Hindi. Kasi nga, you're writing to your mom. Write a letter to your mom inviting her to your new apartment in the city where you live in. So, let's say yun yung task. Okay? Of course, you're just gonna write, Dear mother. Dear mom. Okay? Mag-iiba lang yung tone kapag write a letter to your boss, write a letter to your coworker, or write a letter to your manager, write a letter to this company, yada, 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 okay? So, of course, dun mo palang gagamitin yung dear sir, madam, okay? Kasi nga, kailangan formal, alright? So, it's very important for you to know who you're writing for because it depends on that whether you're going to use a formal or informal tone in writing. Hindi lang naman sa pag-a-address dun sa tao yung formality and informality. It's also the way you construct your sentences, the diction, the vocabulary, words, and lexical resource that you use. Pag casual yung language, ibig sabihin, friend or kamag-anak lang yung sinusulatan mo ng letter. Pero pag someone in if it's a formal letter and you're writing to your boss, definitely you have to use language appropriate for academic or formal inputs, okay? So these are the types of letters. We have invitation, application, resignation, recommendation, complaint letter, and letter of request or request letter. Kailan ba kayo last na nagsulat ng letter? Nakalimutan niyo na. Probably high school. Kasi isa sa mga subjects yan, 'di ba? In English. Isa sa mga pinagawa yan nung high school. Or hindi. Hindi kayo pinagawa ng letter ng high school? I'm sure. Anong curriculum ba yan, guys? Ba't di kayo marunong mag-letter? Eh, sa bagay, kasi digital era nga. Pero email writing, do you have that? Do you learn about email writing? Okay, that's good. What else? Okay, so bakit importanteng matuto about the types of letters? Apparently, hindi yun culture dito sa Philippines. Minsan, yung mga Pilipino, trip lang umabsent, hindi na magsasabi sa supervisor, ganun, di ba? Pero usually, abroad, you need to write a letter. Okay? Everything is communicated through letter. That's the formal way and they follow it. If sa Pilipinas nakasanayan natin na hindi ganon, well, iba sa ibang bansa, okay? You need to know how to write an application letter, of course. Eto, talagang kailangan yung matutong gumawa ng application and resignation letter. Because one way or another, you're gonna apply, you're gonna resign, okay? So yes, you need to learn how to write. Complaint letter. Sa ibang bansa, hindi nila tatanggapin yung complaint mo sa nabili mong product kung walang letter na kasama. Okay? Hindi pwedeng video lang, picture lang, tapos mahabang rant sa messenger, ganon. Or kung sa anumang website. Hindi ganon. They need a complaint letter, a formal complaint letter. So these are the most commonly na lumalabas sa task description, which is complaint letter and request letter. Hindi ko naman sinasabing wag nyo nang aralin yung sa mga GT, hindi ko naman sinasabing wag nang aralin yung invitation, application, resignation, and recommendation. Aralin nyo pa rin. Pero, inote nyo lang na mas lumalabas ang complaint letter at request letters. Okay? So, this is the letter format. We have 6 main parts. The greeting, opening or purpose. Medyo overwhelming lang pakinggan kasi 6, pero sa totoo lang, hindi naman siya ganun ka-overwhelming. We will talk about each part, okay? So the first one is the salutation. Yun yung dear sir, madam. So ito yung difference. Pag formal, dear sir or madam, if no name. Kasi sa name mo malalaman yung gender eh, di ba? Although may mga names talaga na tricky. Like yung name na Alex and Allen, versatile kasi yon. Pwedeng male, female. Ngayon kapag hindi ka sure sa gender, doon mo palang lalagyan ng dear/madam. Pero kung ang name naman niya ay Jessica, syempre, dear Madam Jessica. Or Ma'am Jessica. Miss, or yung last name ni Jessica, Miss Smith. Jessica Smith, okay? Alright. Pero kung hindi ka nga sure or walang name na in-indicate, ito na. Ito na yung safest answer that you can come up with. Dear Sir or Madam. Okay? Yes. Ano po yun? Yes, exactly, Rhea. That's true. Rhea, nakapagbasa ka na ba ng writing output? Ikaw, Rochelle. Si Rhea GT to eh. Ewan ko lang, si Rochelle ba akad ka? Okay, sana dalasan pa natin this year, guys. Okay? Ayan, tamang-tama. General training din si Rochelle at saka si Rhea at saka si Kenji. Saktong-sakto sa inyo yung lecture today. Okay, so this is an indication that it's a formal letter. You use salutations, sir, madam. Ngayon naman, pag semi-formal or informal, let's say you know the person. Like personally, meron kayong connection or a relationship. So, of course, hindi mo nalalagyan ng sir tsaka madam pag semi-formal or informal, ha? John or Dear Alex na lang. Dear John, Dear Alex. Name basis na tayo kapag informal letter. Ano ba yung mga informal letters na kadalasan? Of course, we have invitation letter. Kasi ang i-invite mo, friends mo, family, informal yan. Okay? Application resignation, recommendation, complaint, request, most of the time, these are formal letters, okay? So, part 1, greeting or the salutation, yan yung pinagkaiba ng formal at saka informal. Clear? Okay, now, the second part of the letter is the opening or where your purpose should be indicated, okay? Purpose kung ba't ka sumusulat. Ayaw ng examiner na maraming paligoy-ligoy. Kailangan sa first paragraph pa lang, nakalagay na doon kung ano yung purpose ng letter. Alright? So, immediately state why you are writing. Okay? Referencing the prompts bullet points. So, agad-agad, I am writing to inquire about. I am writing to apply for. I am writing to complain about. Yun na mismo yung pinakaunang sentence ng inyong first paragraph sa letter. Okay? Ayaw ng maraming paligoy-ligoy, sabihin na agad kung ano. Tapos yung following paragraphs, nakadepende na yon sa kung ano yung nire-require sa task description sa bullet points. Okay, any questions? Let's move on to the body paragraphs. The body paragraphs depends kung ilan ba yung nire-require sa bullet points. Ano ba yung mga nire-require sa bullet points? Pinakamaganda is to dedicate one paragraph for each bullet point para mas organized at concise ang ideas mo. Yun kasi ang importante sa writing, guys. One paragraph, one main idea. Kaya nga siya paragraphs eh. So that you can seclude one idea from another. Gets? Ayaw ng examiner na maraming halo-halo at sama-sama sa iisang chunk na ganon. Hiwa-hiwalay bawat idea or bawat bullet point from the task. Use clear topic sentences to introduce each point. Develop each point with relevant details and explanations, okay? So let's say your essay or your mag-generate tayo ng isang writing task 1 for general training. Wait lang. Writing task 1 for general training. Ano gusto nyo? Complaint letter? Task description sample. Okay. You recently stayed at a hotel during a holiday, however, you were not satisfied with the service. Write a letter to the hotel manager. In your letter, 1. Explain why you're writing. 2. Describe the problems you experienced during your stay. Say what you would like the hotel to do. Tatlong tasks ang nire-require. Okay, this is an example of a complaint letter. Okay? And usually, may nakalagay sa baba, write at least 150 words. Medyo na, ang sakit ng ulo ko, guys. Wait lang. In order for you guys to see, part ba kayo lahat ng GC? Ng schedule GC? Are you part of that? Okay. Teka lang. Hindi nyo na pwedeng makita tong inbox ko. Ika-copy paste ko lang yung task description. So, yan yung sample ng writing task 1, general training complaint letter, task description. Okay? So, para sa mga nasa classroom, ipoprovide ko to sa PPT. Hang on. Write a letter to the hotel. Explain. Describe and say. Okay. I'm gonna reshare my screen now. Can you guys see it? So, this is a sample of writing task 1 for general training students, and it's a sample of a complaint letter. As you can see, this is the task description. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. You recently stayed at a hotel during a holiday. However, you were not satisfied with the service. Maraming reasons kung ba't hindi ka masasatisfy sa service ng isang hotel. What? Can you name some of the reasons, guys? Poor? What? customer service. Hindi masyadong attentive ang mga staff. Or probably you didn't feel welcome. Kasi tinarayan ka ng mga staff ng hotel. That could be a reason for complaint because it's a hotel, so they're supposed to be accommodating to you, right? That could be one reason. Although medyo mababaw, pero pwede rin kasi depende talaga sa customer, sa guests, kung ano yung gusto nilang i-complain. And I think, okay, Rochelle, thank you so much. Cleanliness or the hygiene of a hotel room or the toilet, okay? That could be a reason for you to complain. Busted air conditioner. Di gumagana. Okay? Nagbakasyon ka in a tropical hotel, tapos hindi gumagana yung aircon. Syempre, sino ba naman hindi bad trip doon, right? Especially summer. 32 degrees. Feeling ko nga kung dito lang sa review center, walang aircon, magrereklamo na kayo eh. Sa hotel pa kaya na dapat relax ka, chill ka, di ba? So I believe that's one reason why you could complain. Another reason could be may in-offer na complimentary breakfast yung hotel stay mo. However, within the time frame ka naman pumunta sa buffet area. However, nag-cut off sila around, let's say, 10 a.m. Usually, yun yung oras ng cut off ng mga hotels, right? Pero nagpunta ka ng bandang 9:45 at wala ka nang naabutan na food na supposedly meron pa silang isa-serve. Kasi ang cut off talaga is 10 a.m. You can complain about that, right? Kasi it's indicated in the rules that the cutoff for breakfast is 10 a.m. You went there 9:45, wala kang na any food. That could be one of the reasons why you're complaining. All right? Ano pa? So, you're writing on the first paragraph, you're gonna write, I'm complaining about several unsatisfactory experiences that I had at your hotel. Sabihin mo na agad kung ano yung goal mo. Describe the problems you experienced during your stay. Kaya sinabi dito, pwedeng 1 to 3 paragraphs kasi let's say 3 nga yung complaints mo. At gusto mong i-explain bawat complaint isa-isa. So, you should allocate 1 paragraph for each complaint. Okay? Kung isa lang naman yung complaint mo, edi mas okay, 1 paragraph lang. Pero kailangan ma-achieve mo yung 150 words or 170 para safe, di ba? Say what you would like the hotel to do. Ayan, very important maging clear ka kung anong compensation ang gusto mong matanggap. When we say compensation, it means, okay, nagkulang si hotel, ano yung gusto mong gawin ng hotel para mapunan yung pagkukulang nila or i-correct yung mga pagkakamali nila. Ano yung request mo? I would like a 10% discount on my second night. Or might as well say 50% discount since the air conditioner was busted and we had a terrible stay at your hotel. I'm requesting for a full refund. Pwede rin ganon kung masyado kang demanding. Diba? It depends on you. You're the guest. And it depends on the hotel management if they're going to comply or if they're going to accept your request sa compensation. Okay? So yan, yun yung sample. How to write your complaint letter. Any questions? Wala naman. Usually, ganyan yung mga topics, guys. About stays, about hotels, even the speaking. Pwede rin yan maging topic. Number 4 is the closing statement. A brief sentence summarizing your request or looking forward to a response. Okay? Closing statement, optional to actually, pero mas maganda pa rin meron. I look forward to hearing from you soon. You can also leave your contact details, okay? You may contact me through this email or via text message. This is my number. Leave your contact details there, okay? Pwede rin ganon. And then sign off or the valediction formally. This is how you do it. Yours faithfully, yours sincerely. And then of course, you have to write your full name. Pero pag semi-formal or informal lang, lagyan mo lang ng best wishes, kind regards, love. Tapos kahit yung first name mo lang. Best wishes, comma, and then Shannon. Pero pag formal, yung buong pangalan mo sana. Okay? Yan. Pag informal, first name lang. Pag formal, full name. Shannon Estino, tapos Shannon lang pag informal. Any questions about the parts of the letters? No naman. Okay, so we're gonna go get a 5-minute break since naka 1 hour and 10 minutes na tayo. And then we'll be back after the 5-minute break. You can go to the toilet, guys, or you can do whatever you want to do. So this is for academic. As I mentioned earlier, everything that you learn from general training, common mistakes in writing, kaya nyo rin yun i-apply in the future, okay? You can still apply. Same goes with general training students. Everything that will be discussed in this section of the lecture will be helpful in some ways, okay? So it's still worth listening to, okay? Because there are grammar areas here that will surely be applicable in your writing, task 1 or 2. All right, so the first common mistake when it comes to writing, essay writing, is copying the task description. Why do you think it's number 1? It's the number 1 part that you need to avoid. Copying the task description. Usually, yan kasi yung ginagamit as what? As introduction. Okay, let me show you a sample. This is a sample of a task description. Nilagyan ko ng number 1 kasi may mga more samples pa later, okay? Please take note of that. The chart shows the percentage of each region's male and female population aged over 15 who can read and write. This example down here is a legitimate paraphrase. Okay, again, what does paraphrasing mean? Thank you sa nag-raise ng hand. Okay, dito sa Zoom, I believe may makakasagot nito. What is the meaning of paraphrasing? It's actually the solution for you to avoid copying what's written in the task description through paraphrasing. And hindi ka makakapag-paraphrase if you are not fully equipped with various vocabulary and lexical resource. Because paraphrasing is rewriting the same information but using a different sentence structure and using different vocabulary and lexical resource. So, in this given example, the bar graph provides information on the male and female literacy rates in the world who are 15 years and above. The study was conducted in 1996. All right? So basically, it's just the same information as what's written in the task description. However, in-specify lang anong klaseng chart yon? Bar graph daw. Yes. Okay lang na gumamit ng synonyms, pero okay din na gawing more specific. So yung chart, ginawa niyang bar graph, same lang yon, ginawa niya lang specific kasi apparently may iba't ibang klaseng charts. Okay? Provides. Instead of using the word shows, provides. Synonymous ba yon? Yes, synonymous yan. Information on the male and female literacy rates. Percentage of each region's male and female population. Different structure and different because we want to use a generic term for that. Wala, ba't naman ganun? Okay? Why? Why can't I minimize it? Ulit ba? Okay. Wait lang guys. Ayan, okay. Because when you use men, women, it doesn't sound academically inclined. And then if you use boys and girls, it only pertains to younger individuals. Kaya hindi siya okay gamitin. That's why if you want to use a more academically inclined term, just stick with male and female. Okay? It basically means it doesn't matter if that's the only part that you copied. Kita naman yung effort sa pag-paraphrase, okay? Now let's take a look at the second example. Could you please read the task description number 2, Nicole?
Shows the number of tadpoles by earthquake over the past decade for each country as well as the magnitude on the Richards scale.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, inattempt ni candidate na gayahin or gumawa ng introduction based sa task description. So, ito yung effort niya. The table below shows the number of demises caused by earthquakes over the past decade for each country and the magnitude on the Richter scale. Why do you think this is considered a wrong introduction? Rule number 1, don't copy the task description. Ma'am, kinopy nga ba? May isa namang word na nagbago. Yun na nga only one word was changed. So obviously, this was just copy-pasted, right? Literally, isa lang yung word na binago niya, which is deaths, demises. Okay? However, the word demises is not an academically inclined word. That's why it should not be used in this situation. Rather, you can use fatality, mortality rate, the number of mortality, fatality. Okay? Okay. This is a better answer. Can you please read, Eunice? The legitimate paraphrase. Fatalities. Seismic. Okay, why is this paraphrase better than the previous one? Isa sa mga mistakes na itatakal natin later is finifit ang introduction sa isang sentence lang. Itong task description na to, one sentence lang to. Isa pa to sa mga dahilan kung bakit wrong introduction to. Because, kinopy-paste lang, isang word lang yung binago, isang sentence lang for the introduction. 3 mistakes already. Pero ito, ginawa niyang 2 sentences yung introductory paragraph. And talaga namang nag-effort na i-paraphrase. It shows that the candidate is well equipped with vocabulary and lexical resource, has good grammatical structure, and knows variety of grammatical structure, sentence structure. Okay? At kung mapapansin ninyo, it says here, the table below. Hindi mo na pwedeng gamitin tong example na to. Hindi mo na pwedeng sabihin sa gagawin mong introduction the table below. Why? Because there's no table below. Literally, there's no table below, okay? So, on your screen, sa left side, when you're facing the screen of your computer, sa left side, nandun yung task description tsaka yung statistical data or kung ano mang chart, table, whatever is presented. And then on the other half, on the right side of your screen, dun mo i-input yung essay mo. May table ba below doon? Wala, right? So technically, mali yun. You get it? Kaya, be specific. The illustration provides or kung ano mang talagang pinapresent dun sa task description, okay? So do you see the difference between wrong introduction and legitimate paraphrase? Again, the reasons why this is a better introduction is because the candidate showed competency in vocabulary and lexical resource by using paraphrase technique. Ginamitan niya ng 2 sentences yung introduction, which is one of the most important rules na wag isang sentence lang yung introduction mo. Okay? And third, hindi niya inulit yung the table below kasi nga, wala naman literally. There's no table below. Okay? So, those are the reasons why this paraphrase is much better than the previous one. Okay. Common mistake number 2 is the use of fragments. So we will talk about the 2 most commonly used or misused fragments, which is while and followed by. Okay, akala natin, pag ginamitan natin ng transition words na while tsaka followed by, ang galing-galing na natin kasi gumamit tayo ng transition words. Pero hindi mo naman nagamit ng tama kasi nga, mali yung punctuations natin, okay? So, on the first example, let me read it. In 1996, Sweden recorded the highest percentage in the coffee market with an astounding 56% share, period. While Finland was accounted for 2% less share. So, why is this wrong? Dito na, kita na dito yung sagot. Nilagay ko na. Kasi, yung word na while, you can't start the sentence with the word while and not give or provide another independent clause. Because if you start with the word while, it means it's a dependent clause. Hindi pa siya complete thought. While Finland was accounted for 2% less share. Complete thought ba yon? No. So I'm gonna give another example. While I was walking down the aisle, the bridesmaids were throwing confetti. Okay? Gusto niyo bang i-type ko or wag na? Imagine niyo na lang. While I was walking down the aisle, the bridesmaids were throwing confetti. So, the first statement that I said, while I was walking down the aisle, is that a complete thought? Yes or no? Hindi. Kasi nag-aabang ka pa. Ano kasunod nun, right? While I was walking down the aisle, okay, and so what? While you were walking down the aisle, so what? May question ka sa isip mo, what's next? the bridesmaids were throwing confetti. So, kaya lang siya mabubuo, magiging complete sentence pag dinagdagan mo ng isa pang independent clause. But in this scenario, it's a fragment. It makes the sentence incomplete and it makes it grammatically incorrect. That's why the correction here is replace the period with a comma and use lowercase while. Kasi kaduktong lang siya dapat ng buong sentence na to. Hindi mo siya pwedeng pagbukurin. Kasi nga may rule. Bawal yung isang sentence lang sa introduction kaya pinilit niya talagang gawing dalawang sentence pero it's still grammatically incorrect. Now, if you want this to be correct, remove the while and just say, Finland was accounted for 2% less share. Okay? Or gumamit ka ng ibang transition word. Wag while. Because it's making the sentence fragmented or incomplete, incorrect, grammatical lapse. Is it clear? Okay. Okay, same goes here. Same concept. Followed by driver's error at 65%. If you want to add this detail, you just put the comma and add the detail. You don't need to segregate it. You don't need to separate it and make it into a separate sentence kasi hindi pwede. Okay? Pwede, dagdagan mo ng this. Okay, may period sa after sa 72%. Of all the causes of sleep-related accidents, poor motor roads brought about the greatest figure for fatalities at 72%. Period. This is followed by driver's error at 65%. Pwedeng ganon. Pero hindi pwedeng followed by lang. Kailangan this is followed by. Or else, replace it with a comma and just add it to the sentence. You get it? Clear naman, guys. Yung mga faces nyo kasi parang, ano eh, you're still confused. Okay. Error number 3. Repetitive use of words. As you know, in essay writing, one of the golden rules is stop repeating words. Avoid repeating words, okay? Kasi 25% of your score is vocabulary and lexical resource. So, hindi mo afford na mawala yung 25% na yon. Okay? It's a big chunk of your score. That's why earlier, I'm encouraging you, keep reading intellectual materials. Because if not, hindi ka mag-gain ng new vocabulary words. Again, one of the students asked me last week, what is the technique in adding more words in your vocabulary bank? Do you have to read the whole dictionary at once? No, you don't have to. But if you know and you're familiar with the flow of your IELTS examination, what are the topics that are most likely going to come up, you would know which words you have to study. But I suggest, since both GT and academic students are going to write essays, focus on learning transition words and phrases. Kasi, isa yon sa makakapag-help na gawing more concise, more organized, and understandable yung essays ninyo kapag marunong kayong gumamit ng tamang transition words. Okay? It also shows your competency in grammar, especially in writing. So, let's avoid repetition of words, enhance your vocabulary bank, synonyms, antonyms, negatives, and positives. Okay? Let's take a look at this sample. Canada spent 15% on education in 1997, while US spent 20%. UK spent 25%, while Ireland spent 16%. Okay. Obviously, the word that was repeated on the sample is the word spent. Spent. Ilang beses inulit? 4 times, right? So, yun yung sinasabi nating repetition. Hindi naman porket ginamit mo na yung word na, let's say, sa first paragraph, nagamit mo na yung word na percentage. Never mo na yun pwedeng ulitin sa buong essay. Hindi ganun yung ibig sabihin dito na rule. What we're trying to say is repetition of words in one sentence or in one paragraph. Yung sobrang obvious na inulit-ulit mo na yung word. Wala ka nang ibang magamit kasi yun lang talaga yung alam mong gamitin, okay? Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin, hindi mo na siya pwedeng gamitin sa buong essay. Pwede naman. Okay, this is obvious repetition. Now let's take a look at the legitimate paraphrase. Can you please read it, Zara?
UK splurged 25% of its budget in education, while Ireland allocated 16% in addition, 16%. In addition, US expenditure was accounted for a fifth of the total, while Canada spent 15% on government subsidized learning in 1997.
Okay, thank you so much, Zara. So the underlined words are the word replacements for the word spent. Okay? All right. But be careful. Why? Because the word splurged, hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin in all situations. You can only use the word splurge when you're pertaining to the biggest number among the percentages that you are comparing. Okay? Ginamit siya sa 25% kasi 25% yung pinakamalaki. Kaya ginamit yung word na splurged. Literally, what does splurge mean? Ibig sabihin, you used up a big amount of money on something. Spent. Okay? Kaso nga lang, sa pinakamalaking digit mo siya gagamitin. Allocated is another word for inilaan. Or, I mean, the synonymous in English is inilaan. Or doon, in-spend. Okay? US expenditure. Ito, hindi to verb. Pero noun to. Expenditure means expenses. Okay? And then, yun. Gumamit na siya ng word na spent. Pero once lang. So, there's no repetition that occurred in the legitimate paraphrase. Is it clear? Okay, so I'm gonna show you now what the block format looks like. For the GT students, yes, yung block format, guys, ganito siya. The one on the left side. Yung left part ng paragraphs, naka-straighten siya lahat. Pagka kasi indented siya, nakadasog siyang ganyan, okay? And don't forget spacing. After each paragraph, 1 space. Hindi double one lang. Ito kung makikita nyo, walang spaces to. Okay? Hindi yan English, kaya huwag nyo nang basahin. Pero yan yung sample ng block paragraph. Yan na kasi yung pinakamalinaw na nakita kong sample. Yung iba, pixelated. So, yan na yung ginamit ko, guys. So, always use the block format even in letter writing. Minention yan kanina. Formatting mistakes. Let's talk about formatting mistakes. Not leaving spaces between paragraphs. Just what I showed you earlier. These are the spaces. Okay? Isang enter lang yan. Minsan kasi may student na nagtanong sa akin, Ma'am, ilang pindot ba ng enter? Isa lang. And then move on to the next paragraph. Erasing words within sentences and leaving the spaces blank. This is applicable in pen and paper-based tests. So, disregard this. Alam ko namang computer-based kayong lahat, diba? So, erasures are also very important in pen and paper-based tests. So, please refer to the old lecture about it. Capitalization. Let's talk about capitalization. Okay. All right. Capitalization. Kailangan ba naka-caps lock lahat pag nag-i-input ng essay? Of course not. Hindi pwedeng naka-caps lock, okay? That's a very important rule. Kasi, hindi ka mabibigyan ng tamang, it's gonna be disqualified. Your essays, your writing tasks will all be disqualified pag naka-caps lock. So, when it comes to capitalization, of course, number one rule, the first letter of the first word in a sentence. Yun yung pinaka-basic na rule, guys. You start your sentence with a capital letter. That's it. Very elementary, right? Okay, so what are the words that need capitalization? Holidays. Months. January to December. Naka-capital dapat lagi yung first letter nun. Days of the week. Holidays. Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve. Lahat yon. N sa new, Y sa year, at saka Eve, E sa Eve. New Year's Eve. Capitalize yon, ha? Di pwedeng yung N lang yung nakakapitalize. Ano pa ba yung mga holidays? Thanksgiving Day. Yung T sa Thanksgiving, yung D sa day. Valentine's, letter V. Holiday yon, okay? Okay, what else? Proper nouns. What are proper nouns? Name of a person. Natural, dapat nakakapitalize pag name of a person. The first name and the surname. And the middle initial, right? What else? Brands. Louis Vuitton. What else? Uniqlo. New Balance. Yung new, N sa new, B sa balance. Proper nouns, name of a city. New York City. City is a common noun if it's not attached to the word New York City. Pero kung i-attach mo siya doon, kailangan capitalize ang N sa new, Y sa York, C sa city. New York City. Capitalize yon, ha? Ano pa ba yung mga kailangan i-capitalize? Yung letter I, kapag ginamit as a subject na sentences. Marami akong nakikita, maraming nagkakamali sa letter I. Ako, very specific ako, even pag may kachat ako. Hindi ako pumapayag na small letter yung I. Ina-apply ko talaga sa chats para hindi matrain yung utak ko na gamitin yung maling format. So, sana kayo din, okay? Or siguro pag nagmamadali, napapa-lowercase na lang yung I. I'm here na. Ganon, di ba? Pero usually ako, even sa chats, kailangan tamang spelling. Ang hirap naman ka-chat, di ba? What I mean is, ako lang naman yon. Hindi ko naman yun nire-require sa kausap ko na tama siya lagi. Okay, so, yon. Any questions about capitalization? We're gonna talk more about capitalization because there are generic words na hindi naman kailangang i-capitalize unless they are attached to a proper noun. Okay? Okay, so let's take a look at the first example. I think I'm getting allergic rhinitis right now. iniisip ko pa naman kanina, hindi ako nag-face mask sa bus. Tapos may nakita ko naka-face mask. Sabi ko, should I be wearing face mask or not? Now, the answer is yes, I should be wearing. Kasi nag-allergic rhinitis ako. Probably something triggered me. Dust or something. All right, so Kenji, can you please read the first paragraph?
Workshops online and Facebook becomes online daily based on types of sites. These sites include education portals, news and finance, entertainment, including others.
Okay, as you can see, naka-capitalize lahat ng naka-underline. But these are all generic words, which means there's no need for you to capitalize them. The word entertainment can be capitalized if it's attached to the brand of a channel. ABS-CBN Entertainment Channel. Okay? ABS-CBN, all caps lock. Entertainment, E on entertainment, and then C on channel. Kasi isang buo sila, they represent the brand or the name of the company. Okay? Yung word na motors. Ano ba yung mga brand ng sasakyan na may motors? Kawasaki Motors. Let's just say, okay? Hindi ko sure if ganun nga. Pero, syempre, if naka-attach siya sa company name na Kawasaki, yung letter K, uppercase, and then yung motors, naka-uppercase, then yung letter M. Although, if you use the word motor as a generic word, naka-lowercase lang siya. So be careful with these subtle mistakes because point deductions din yan. You can't afford to accumulate too many point deductions because it will affect your total band score. Okay? Ito diniscuss ko na to kanina. Common sense na lang guys ha. Siyempre diniscuss ko sa inyo yung capitalization errors. Malamang hindi ka pwedeng mag-use ng all caps. Kasi hindi ma-check ni examiner kung marunong ka bang mag-capitalize. Isa yun sa mga technicalities na chine-check ng mga examiners pagdating sa writing. Okay? We wouldn't be enlisting it kung hindi. How many slides do we have? 10 more slides? 11 more slides. Okay. So, there you go. Misinterpretation. Okay. Misinterpretation simply means you misunderstood the task description. In everything you do, if you misunderstand something, it will give you negative results. Mamamali ka talaga if there's misinterpretation. So, to avoid misinterpretation, you have to ask yourself the following questions. 1. What is the graph all about? So, the statistical data that's presented on your screen, you have to analyze it. Basahin niyo mabuti yung nakalagay na title or yung heading na gano'n. How can I best simplify or lengthen the discussion? Hindi naman lahat ng figures, lahat ng nasa table or illustration, kailangan mong i-describe. Hindi naman yun yung task sa writing. Ang task sa writing, for academic, writing task 1, i-interpret yung data. Kung ano ba yung big changes, yung comparisons na pwede mong i-discuss. Okay? That's how you can lengthen your discussion. Which grouping variables will I use? Can I employ trending? Okay. Okay, number 8. Common mistake number 8 is trying too hard, which means you're using too many highfalutin words. So this is a sample. time of the day or night. And here we have percentage of UK population over 4 years old. Obviously, you can see na meron dalawang categories. We have television and radio. And then horizontally, time of the day that people in the UK use the radio or the television. Okay? This is a sample which is not recommended. Ang hirap intindihin ng first example. Why? The words are too difficult or complex. Okay, you can read it silently on your own. Okay. Actually, may nag-comment na student last year, mas madali daw yatang intindihin yung first kesa sa second. Pero actually, if you take a closer look, this better overview is easier to understand. Why? Use simple language. Overall, more people watch television than listen to the radio. Nagbigay na agad siya ng overall or general observation, okay? More people watch television than listen to the radio. Tingnan nga natin. Totoo naman. Yung sa radio, yung naka-reach lang siya ng almost 40% of the audience. Pero sa bandang umaga lang. But it fluctuated na towards the evening. Unlike television, it reached more than 50%, probably 60% of the population watch television. Diba? So obviously, more people watch television than listen to the radio, although a greater percentage of the populace did the latter. Okay, ano ba mga ibig sabihin ng did the latter? So sa first sentence nakalagay, more people watch television than listen to the radio. Ang first na sinabi is watch television. And then, listen to the radio. Ngayon, pag sinabi natin the latter, yun yung last na minention, which is radio. Okay? The latter. Yun yung ibig sabihin. So, although a greater percentage of the populace did the latter, nakinig ng radio in the morning, still, watching TV recorded more audience at night. Kaya niya ginamit yung did the latter para maiwasan niya yung repetition. Sasabihin na naman niya, listen to the radio. Repetition yun eh. Diba? Kaya, ginamit niya yung term na did the latter. Okay? May nagtanong kasi last year, ano ma'am yung latter? Ayun. Para naintindihan niyo. So now, do you think the second sample is more understandable compared to the first? Yes, right? Kasi sa una, very difficult yung words na ginamit. Tapos, the structure of the sentence is very vague. Wala pang tamang punctuation. Yung word na television, hindi naman kailangan naka-uppercase yung T, pero may uppercase na T, so that's also wrong. That's why it's highly not recommended to use that one. Okay. Common mistake number 9. Writing each figure. When we say figure, we're talking about numbers, percentages, okay? All right. As I said earlier, writing task 1 is not about describing what you see, every detail that you see on the statistical data. it's supposed to check if you understood the comparisons that you see on the graphs, on the illustrations that are presented. So, mali itong first paragraph, because as you can see, there are 5 figures that were mentioned. 150K, 100K, 400K, 200K, and another 200K. 5 figures. Unlike on the second example, twice lang nag-mention ng figures. This one, nasa loob siya ng open-close parenthesis, which means, what? Nilagay lang siya doon for specification. Kasi sabi, on that same figure. Para lang ma-specify kung anong same figure yung tinutukoy. Pero hindi talaga to counted. Itong 150 tsaka 400K lang yung minention niya dito. And if you read it carefully, it was perfectly described because it's comparing. Okay? All right. Let me read the second or the better overview. Music choice began with 150K visits on day 1. There was a fluctuating number of people who visited this site in the next 3 days. It reached its peak of 400K on day 3. However, this figure was reduced to half the next day. Okay, so imbis na i-mention niya na naging 200K na lang ulit, sabi niya half. Kasi half ng 400K is 200K. Right? Yan. Dapat i-analyze nyo mabuti para alam niyo yung mga words na gagamitin nyo. Ending the 5-day monitoring period on the same figure, which is 200K. Okay? So you don't need to mention all the figures that you see on your graph. And then we're down to number 10. I think this is gonna be the last part of this. Pero, kasi hanggang 10 lang to, ay wait lang guys. Hindi ko pa natapos kasi i-add yung more details. So, I'm gonna use the other one, okay? The old presentation. Okay. Okay, so number 10, this is also the last one in academic writing task 1 mistakes. Overall, Asia had the highest population growth rate at 6.2% annually, while North America had the lowest with 1.2%. So, you can simply say highest population growth rate, while North America had the lowest. You can just use these names, these words, to indicate that Asia had the highest and then America had the lowest. Hindi naman na kailangan i-indicate yung figures, especially if you are going to end your essay. Alright? Overview na to kasi to eh. So pag sinabing overview, parang summarization na siya. No need to add figures anymore. Okay, let me use the other slide, guys. Hindi ko kasi siya natapos. Hindi ko siya natapos nung isang gabi. So, let's use the old slide. The Zoom participants, you can still see my screen, right? Okay. How can I like download it? Ay, mali, mali, mali. Okay, here. All right, can you guys see? Pero hindi siya naka-full. So, gusto ko siyang mag-full screen. But I don't know why. Okay. Yan. Wait lang, guys. Ay, andito na tayo sa listening mistakes. Ayan, tama. So, pahapyawan lang natin para ma-cover natin lahat, guys. Okay? So, listening mistakes. Not following directions. So, numbers, word limit. Ayan, may nakalagay lagi sa instruction. One word is only accepted. Or two words. One word and a number. Ganyan. So, basahin mabuti yung instruction. Kasi minsan, nagkakamali kayo ng answers just because hindi nyo binasa yung instruction. Chine-check nyo ba yung results nyo after nyo mag-take ng mock test? So, minsan, tama naman yung sagot mo, pero hindi mo sinunod yung instruction. So, definitely, it's still wrong. Because the number one rule that you should always remember is follow the instructions. I believe you've heard that a couple of times already in the past. Okay. Numbers are taken as a whole and not as individual. So, hindi mo na... Okay, 3 words to. 3,000 to 4,000. Ito naman, it's considered as 2 words. Kasi meron lang naman siyang hyphen. Pero ito, 3,000, 1 word. 2, 1 word. 4,000, 3 words. So, it's a total of 3 words. Okay? Format issues. Repeating the format. Pag meron lang naka-indicate na unit dun sa test paper, dun sa screen, wag nang maglagay ng unit. Ito, redundant na to. May unit na dito. Nilagyan pa ng dollars. The correct answer should only be 10. Kasi may nakalagay naman ng unit dito. Okay? All caps. Ayan. Pag sa listening, pwede ang all caps. Sa writing lang talaga, hindi. Formatting dates. Okay. Ito yung mga acceptable. 5th of May, May 5th, 5th May. 5 May. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, so sa telephone numbers, spaces and hyphens are no longer necessary. What is important is the sequence of numbers, yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng numbers. Don't neglect the right sequence of numbers, okay? Pag napagbaliktad mo, malamang mali ka na doon. It makes it wrong. Okay. Again, huwag nalagyan ng space. Hindi na din kailangan yung hyphen. Pero kung gusto mo lagyan ng hyphen at ganito naman, every 3 digits, tama naman. Pero if you wanna play safe, just don't add any hyphen. Okay? So, kapag dalawa yung sagot mo, just put a comma. Lalo na kung ang sabi lang, you can only write 2 words. So, pag dinagdagan mo ng and, it makes it wrong. The importance of edit or edited. Grammatically incorrect yan. So your answer will also depend on the grammatical structure of what's given in the questionnaire. So, you have to use your analytical thinking skills sa part na to. Okay, the importance of editing is blah, blah, blah. Ayan, may mga words of wisdom pa dito si Sir Kevin. Kapag daw 2 beses ka nang nagkamali at same mistake yung ginawa mo, hindi na pala yun mistake. It's already a choice. Okay. Balik tayo dito, guys. Speaking mistakes, we still have 15 minutes. Okay. Let's talk about hometown. Hometown is a place where you grew up with. You grew up at. Okay? So, ano pa? Pwede kasing dun ka pinanganak, pero hindi ka naman dun lumaki. So, it's not really considered your hometown. Okay? Hometown is a town or a city where you were born or grew up. So, it doesn't really translate to birthplace. So, let's say ako, I was born in the Philippines, but then my family decided to migrate at the age of 1 or 0 months. 0 months. I mean, hindi ka pa nag-1 year old tapos your family wanted to migrate. So, technically, you did not grow up in the Philippines. You grew up in another country. That's your hometown now. Okay? All right. For me, personally, I think, in my opinion, gumamit lang one at a time. Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin sabay-sabay yan, okay? Kasi they're all introductory phrases which you should only pick one. And they have the same meaning. For me, personally, I think, in my opinion. For the sake na pahabain yung sinasabi, inad mo na lahat eh, no? Well, mali yun, guys, okay? All right. Global warming versus globalization. Magkaiba yun. Global warming talks about environmental condition of Earth. Okay? Globalization is talking about the connection of countries in different industries like technology, trade, communication, and cultural exchange. Alright? Magkaiba ang global warming versus globalization. Aralin mabuti ang latest environmental and social issues. It's very important. Pronunciation! Ayan. Most Filipinos make mistakes with F and P. They interchange. Yung V tsaka yung B, interchange din yan. Okay? Ano yung order mo sa Jollibee? Isang bucket. Isang bucket. O, diba? Ano ba yung mga common mistakes? Where are you from? I'm from the Philippines. It's not Philippines, it's Philippines. Okay, guys? So, maging aware kayo kung nagkakaroon kayo ng mga ganong errors para makorek natin. Pero usually kasi, when we have a one-on-one coaching, nako-correct din naman talaga yan. Speaking of coaching, sino gusto magpa-coach after the lecture? Meron akong virtual coaching, which starts at 12. Mga 15 to 20 minutes. So, yung next slot is 12:20, kung gusto nyo. Ba't ayaw nyo? Okay. Another common mistake in speaking is not answering the question. Yung tinitigan mo na lang talaga si examiner. Staring blankly ahead. Alam niyo yung kanta na yun? Staring blankly ahead na lang talaga eh. Okay, so try your best. Nahirapan ka sa question, mag-effort ka naman bago ka give up, okay? So, you can ask for repetition kung hindi mo na-gets nung unang beses. Malay mo, mag-gets mo sa pangalawa niyang pagbanggit ng tanong. So, kindly ask the examiner, could you please repeat the question? Yun lang. Malay mo, pag inulit niyo yung tanong, medyo may pumasok na idea sa isip mo, right? Kung wala talaga at hindi ka knowledgeable about the topic that is being introduced or asked in the sentence, in the question, nun ka palang pwedeng mag-resort sa, I'm sorry, I'm not knowledgeable about that specific topic as of the moment, but don't worry, as soon as I get home, I'll do my research about it. Ganun lang, okay? Mas okay pa nga yun kesa pilitin mong sagutin yung mga tanong na hindi mo naman talaga kayang sagutan. Magkakaroon ka lang ng maraming grammatical lapses. For sure, sa vocabs mo, magkakamali ka rin kasi pinipilit mo nga, 'di ba? Lahat talaga ng bagay na pinipilit, mali. Guys, okay? Huwag niyong pilitin yung mga bagay na hindi naman dapat. Okay, slangs such as yeah, gone. Kala mo cool ka sa kakaya-ya-ya mo, ganyan. Hindi nakaka-cool yun, okay? Actually, ayaw ng examiners yung too informal, such as gonna, cause, wanna, like. Because although it's not a formal job interview, IELTS should be considered something, an interview wherein you should show professionalism. So let's use language that is academically inclined, appropriate for an interview. Again, IELTS is the top one English proficiency test in the world. So treat it as something that you can be proud of, okay? The Filipino accent and tone, okay? Filipino accent. Paano ba yon? Medyo kailangan pakuluan ang accent natin. Ibig sabihin, you have to immerse in movies, podcasts na English para naman ma-adapt nyo yung accent ng ibang native speakers. Okay? Any questions? If you want an intricate topic or discussion about the common mistakes in speaking, I think it will be plotted within the month. So yeah. So who's gonna stay for coaching tonight? Tonight, I mean today. I-message ko na yung student para makapag-start na kami, guys. So by 12 p.m., pwede na kayo. Kung sino yung gustong maiwan. Kasi tomorrow coaching, if ayaw nyo nang bumalik dito tomorrow, you can have the coaching session with me. Lalo na yung mga natagal-tagal nang di nakapagpa-coaching, last year pa yung last coaching, di ba? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Ay, may message si Rochelle. Virtual sa Friday. Yes, pwede naman. Lalo na kung ako yung nandito sa Friday. Okay? We can start it at around 12 noon. Okay, Rochelle? I'm gonna be ending this meeting. And I'll talk to you guys again on our next class.